Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by none other than Jack Edwards, who is a student at Indiana and also covers the Indiana men's and women's soccer team for Indiana, as well as does some other things. Hi, Jack.
Hi, Casey. How you doing?
Good. Okay, so kind of tell everybody what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a sophomore at Indiana University. As you mentioned, Casey, I'm a big soccer guy. I cover the men's and women's team for Indiana University Student Television, IUSTV, and I've been doing that since the start of this semester. Last year, I covered the men's tennis team before COVID-19 obviously made everything a little different. But I've been doing that this semester, and more recently, I've started doing a gig doing YouTube content for a Liverpool media outlet. Liverpool's a Premier League team in England. They play proper football, soccer. So I'm a big soccer guy. I'm a big soccer nerd. That's about 50% of my personality.
So talk about like kind of what you do. What are some of the things like you do? I mean, you do a YouTube thing for Liverpool. That's for like for an organization, for someone that covers it. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been a really fun time because I've been a Liverpool fan for my entire life. My dad became a Liverpool fan after the 2005 Champions League final in Istanbul, and I mean, I grew up watching the team, enjoying it. Obviously, I'm not from the Liverpool area. As you can tell by my voice, it's not British. I'm American, but I still love the sport. And so a couple months back, it was a pretty big Twitter account reached out. They wanted to start a YouTube channel. Wanted fans who could do content. I reached out. I started doing that. And for that, basically, it's kind of just do what you want about with the team because we do usually match preview live streams on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, post match reactions. So engaging with fans. The most things I do most often it's LFC Transfer Room. So they cover transfer news most predominantly. So I'll do a video on if there's a player, or say very recently there was a player linked to Luis Suarez. He plays for Atletico Madrid. He used to play for Liverpool, and he was linked. So I did a video like looking at some of his stats, looking at kind of how he would make sense of Liverpool, just really short stuff. And we're starting to develop that community over there. So it's really kind of been fascinating because I've had to kind of just been complete free will on making this content. And in comparison to the stuff I do at the college level for the men's and women's soccer team at Indiana, it's very different. And I think that the two of them really give me a lot of
Okay,
different experience.
Talk about what you do for the men's and women's team, for Indiana, for the student TV station.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, this season started in the spring. Usually it'd be a fall season, but the Big Ten decided to postpone most of with the exception of football, most of their academics or athletics to the spring semester. So I was originally going to be the men's soccer beat reporter last fall, but obviously I just said, all right, I'll do it in the spring. Due to an interesting lack of reporters, they're like, do you want to do women's soccer also? I was like, sure, I'm okay with that. More opportunities. I'm never going to say no to that. Basically on a day-to-day, I just kind of follow the team. If there's a press conference or anything, I attend it, learn more about the team. At the matches, I get press credentials. I shoot on the sideline, just B-roll for my content I want to make. For the men's team, since I was doing it since the fall, I've done a few packages and features on some of the players, like their captain, left back Spencer Glass. They had a transfer at right back, Nick Sessick. Their freshman class, I interviewed a couple of freshmen for that. So John's really good experience with that. And on a game day, I'll film the game, do like a post-match stand-up, interview, do the press conference, and put that together in a short little video that I'll post on my Twitter and my YouTube. So really, it doesn't get the craziest interactions, but what I enjoy the most about it is the raw experience, because every time I do it, I get a bit better. And I know that, I'm a sophomore. I got 2 more years at Indiana. And I'm hoping that by the end of it, I'm very good and I continue to polish my craft. So that's the biggest thing that I enjoy about it, is just the sheer reps.
Yeah. So kind of like, what else are you I know you're going to be doing something this weekend that's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about that beforehand. So I'm not really sure what it is either, but one of the heads of the sports media department at Indiana kind of sent out an email, said, all right, they want runners, stats people to help with the NCAA Elite Eight, Final Four, championship game broadcasts, like the pre-match show, the post-match show that'll be on site. They need people to help set that up, kind of to make that broadcast be behind the scenes. And he said, all right, reach out to this person if you're interested. I said, all right, I'm interested. I don't really know what I'm doing still, and that starts on Monday, so it's kind of be going in the deep end, figuring it out. But basically, it's going to be a fun experience because I have a lot of experience in front of the camera, and being I hate the word talent. It's the proper word to use, but it sounds so egotistical, like I'm the talent. But I'm really excited to see how a professional broadcast gets built behind the scenes because I've never seen that before. And to actually be a part of it would be a big difference. So I don't really know exactly what I'm doing yet, but I do know that it's going to be in the creation of the broadcast, which I'm very excited because I'm going to learn a lot.
Yeah. So, like, I know soccer is your passion. What do you see yourself doing now? Like, really, after all this?
I'm also minoring in Spanish at Indiana because a bit of a caveat story, but before I went to high school in Carmel, Indiana, and went to Carmel High School, which has a phenomenal, like one of the best media programs in the nation. It's got a great radio station, great TV station, newspaper. I was blessed because originally I lived in Texas right before my freshman year of high school. And I was planning on just being business. I wanted to learn Spanish and Mandarin so I could speak to 80% of the world. That I still want to do that at some point in my life, but that's been pushed down the road. But when I moved to Carmel, I ended up doing media predominantly with Spanish. But now that I've got a lot of media experience and that bit of Spanish, I want to go overseas. I want to, like the idea of being a foreign correspondent for a American media organization like Barcelona or something like that just absolutely excites me. But in terms of actual what I want to do in media, I mean, it changes so much, doesn't it? I mean, when I got into college, I don't think TikTok was a thing, and now TikTok's one of the biggest things in the world. So I'm just positioning myself to be ready for whatever is available and whatever is most popular when I come into the industry because I'm able to just be student media, covering college teams, doing some other YouTube work on the side, and just getting the raw skills because that's all you can really do for yourself is position yourself as best you can for when the opportunities come. I think my dream has always been hosting Sports Center. It's a really lofty goal. But stuff like that, I'm very excited where I can go because the amount of I've learned, the opportunities I've learned about in just the last 6 months, 12 months, 2 years is remarkable. So if that trend continues, I think there's a lot of different things I can go into, and it's just the opportunities and the skills that you need.
So what is it like with like covering soccer that just excites you?
I don't know. It's just like if you love a sport, if you love something about it. I think the thing I love most about soccer is that in comparison to any other sport, it's the most fluid. It's the most, I don't want to disrespect American football, but you have 11 guys line up on opposite sides of a line. They wait for a whistle, then they hit each other for about 3 seconds. Then they go back on the other side of the line, wait to hit each other again. I love the sport. But soccer just is different. It's more fluid. It's beautiful to watch in my eyes. I know that it definitely it's an acquired taste for many because it can be quite boring. A 0-0 draw to many is just a dull affair. For me, that can be a beautiful thing. And so being able to, for the men's team is phenomenal, which makes it really, really easy to follow them and cover them because they're 7th in the nation. They're 8-time champions with the exception of St. Louis, who won all their titles back in the 80s and 90s. They have the most titles out of anybody in the entire nation with 8. So they're a historic program. They're a really fun team to watch. They're a good group. And the women's team as well. They are kind of the opposite. They have done almost nothing on the national stage. And they're beginning to get there. They have a really interesting head coach, Erwin Van Bennekom. They're playing a really nice brand of soccer. And so when you just love the sport, you just love talking about it, thinking about it. It just makes it really easy to do it. And I think that I'm really just kind of blessed that I've been able to find this opportunity of doing something that I really just love because I I joke how often I overwork myself, but it doesn't feel like I'm overworking myself because I'm just doing what I would do in my free time, which would be watch soccer, consume this kind of content. Instead, I'm making the content myself. So really, it's a perfect mix for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's it gonna be? I mean, what's it gonna be like? What do you got going on? Is Indiana gonna be like, in terms of men? Do you think they really got a shot to get it done?
You know, I think this is as good an opportunity for them as ever because the ACC and I believe one one of our Power Five conference played in the fall, and they're not playing in the spring. So when they come to the NCAA tournament, which is about 3-4 weeks out at this point, they're going to be what IU had to deal with in early February, which was incredible amount of rust because it's been over 12 months since you last played, and just kind of taking a little while to get the cobwebs off. But the difference for the ACC teams and the teams who are coming in fresh, they have one match, and if they lose it, they're done. Versus Indiana are gearing up at the right time. They struggled at the beginning of the year because they had to get that rust out. They were winning matches 3-4-0, but they weren't performing at a very high level. Those performances have changed. They've had some really good matches in the last few. They have 2 matches left against Michigan and Maryland, who are very good sides. But if they finish first in the Big Ten, they want to do another double-double, which is win the regular season standings and win the conference tournament. They have a really good chance of doing that. Now, in terms of how they'll do on the national stage, it's so tough to predict because, I mean, I think back to 2019 when they were in the tournament last time. They played against UC Santa Barbara, who was not expected to be close to them at all. They were one of the favorites for the tournament. IU was, and yet they lost 1-0 in extra time off of a golden goal. It's just soccer is another thing I love about it. It's such a low-scoring sport that upsets happen all the time. So to win a championship is so difficult, even if you're a favorite. So I think they're ranked 7th right now in the nation. I think they're one of the 5 best teams in the nation. So they'll pit themselves up against anybody to be up there come late May, which is going to be a remarkable time. That late May we'll have NCAA action to figure out who's the champion.
There's going to be a lot of that going on because you got all these other sports that are happening. So it should be exciting to watch. But anyway, Jack, thanks so much for coming on for a few minutes and good luck. Let's have you on again.
Oh, I would love to, Casey. I appreciate the time.
Yeah.